made focaccia. I used 11 Levin's recipe. I will provide a link to the recipe at the bottom, but this is pretty much what it looks like, and let's get into it. Water, flour, sugar, salt, and yeast. Oil. You need this too. Forgot. Alright, now that you know all the ingredients are involved, let me show you everything coming together. You just saw me dramatically adding sugar into the mixing bowl. Now we are adding some room temperature water. And then what is focaccia without yeast? Kind of set it aside for 15 minutes, and then I was like, oh, I've got to measure out some flour. In any case, this is me weighing out 500 grams of flour. Now, I don't want to convince you to get a scale if you're very adamant about not getting one, but I will say, since adding one to my kitchen, it has been a game changer. I can't imagine baking without one. 408. Did I mention that it is a lot less dishes? I know you see a bowl here, but that is a bowl that I would use to measure everything out. 496. 499. 501. 500. Huh? Alright, now that I have my 500 grams of flour, it's time to bring the mixer back out so that I could start adding the flour to the wet ingredients in the mixer. Joining that yeast mixture that's already in the bowl will be the 500 grams of flour plus the salt that you had just seen. I believe I was getting a little antsy throwing in a spoonful of flour, so I just decided to start dumping it. There are a couple of things I've taken away from baking, and baking is fairly new to me. It's not something that I've done regularly, except I have been in the last couple of months. But there are two things that I've learned from it. One is patience. It is a work in progress. And two, it's just an exercise in following directions. And trust me, if you don't follow directions, sometimes the recipe will not turn out the way it's supposed to. In any case, everything here is mixed up. I take out the ball of batter, and then in goes oil, because I am going to put the batter back into that bowl to let it rise. Oil it up! You want to see a magic trick? Ta-da! Alright, there's my towel. I am covering it up, and I will be back in another hour or so. A few hours later, here I am. Ta-da! Again. Alright. Here's my dough. It rises slightly. Come up a bit. Got a pan. And then I take out my 9x12 pan, oil it up, because what I'm going to do is throw the dough back in, and then I'm just going to keep poking at it. Poke, 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 poke. I was having so much fun with this that, I figured it was time to do it on the other side. Again, more poking, poke. Ta-da, I think I'm done. All right, there's more magic. Walk away for a few hours, and then I came back to see it rise a bit more. Ooh! And then I decided to top it off with a few shallots. So here I am cutting some shallots. My son came in and asked me something, but this is me putting the shallots on. And a little bit of salt. And then, of course, a little bit more EVOO. Shout out Rachel Ray. Doing a little bit more poking. And then this is the final product before going into the oven. And then ta-da! After a few minutes in the oven, this is the final product. And that is all. Today I made focaccia. Thanks for watching.